Onto this story now. Notorious gang boss Ernie Solomon is being laid to rest this morning. Solomon was shot and killed in Boksburg while driving last month. eNCA reporter Monique Mortlock is tracking the story for us and joins us now live. Now, Monique, usually we've seen heavy police presence when a funeral of an alleged gangster is happening. What are you seeing where you are?
Exactly what we've seen at those funerals that you've mentioned in the last couple of months. Here, as you drive into Hermanus, the roads leading into Church Street, you will find several vehicles from the police's task team. I'm just going to ask my colleague Zaid Harris to show you what's happening right now at the home of Solomon here in Church Street. The casket is about to leave, and Solomon was a prominent member of the Khoi community, the indigenous leaders community. He was always proud of showing that heritage, and we've heard some traditional sounds from a trumpet being blown. We are seeing now that a guard of honor is being formed by some members of the Khoi community as his casket is leaving the house. You can see it's quite a large gathering, quite a big turnout, and we are expecting an even bigger turnout at the Tusong Center where the funeral is taking place in about an hour's time. We believe that there will also be a traditional burial taking place. Excuse me. As you can see, funeral goers are now leaving the house, making their way to where the funeral is taking place. It was a private viewing at the home. It will be interesting to see whether the hall will be packed, because as you know, due to COVID-19 regulations, funerals especially, it can't be packed to capacity. There are only a certain number of people allowed. So we will be seeing a little later how they will be managing the crowd.
Now, we do know that he was with somebody else in the car who was also fatally wounded at the time of the shooting. There was also allegations that him and his son, there was a shooting in May where they were attacked, but they didn't die then. Have we heard anything from the family?
No, not yet. I have asked one of the sons whether we can chat to them a bit later. Obviously, they are very busy with the funeral They were very busy with the funeral arrangements. I will be chatting a little later to the family just to find out how those other members of the family, especially the children who were in the car with Solomon on that night of 20 November, how they are doing, how the rest of the family is doing, and if there are any fears of further retaliation or any further shootings after that 20 November incident in which he was shot and killed.
Monique, do we know anything about who the speakers will be at the funeral?
Not yet. We are going to be taking a glance at the program a little later when we go there. We know that it's quite a long day ahead. There is a funeral taking place, or the funeral service is expected to take place at 10, and then a little later what we've seen on the program is that there will be a Khoi burial. So that will take place a little later this afternoon, also in the Hermanus, Houston area. We will be traveling now to Houston, which is also where Solomon spent a great deal of time. He also had properties there. The last time my colleague Aisha Ismail was there, she was there just following the shooting and the passing of Solomon, and she had tried to speak to some community members there. They were too scared to speak on camera, but they did tell her that he played quite a vital role in the community, that he was quite helpful in helping community members who needed money, pensioners who wanted to go on trips out of Hermanus or out of Houston to the city. So it seemed as if he was quite a beloved member of the Houston community.
Talking about that, I mean, you talk about somebody who was allegedly the leader of one of the most notorious gangs in the country, but also people describing him as a humble man. Do we know anything about how far the criminal case is, Monique?
Not yet. No suspects have yet been arrested, and that could be why there's such a high police presence, because as we've seen in the last couple of months at the funerals of important figures related to the alleged underworld, like Charles Kinnear, the detective who headed up that anti-gang unit, that high police presence also before any suspects were arrested. Obviously, police need to remain vigilant in case of any incidents springing up around today's commemorations or today's events. But as for now, no suspects yet arrested in connection with the shooting.
Well, let's leave it there for now. Thank you very much, Monique Mortlock, coming to us live from Hermanus in Cape Town.